What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for another redemption review because I put old, embarrassing, horrible content out back in the day, and today I'm redoing my review of Panic! At the Disco's 2011 album, Vices and Virtues. This actual album only contains 10 songs, but I am going to talk about and rate that first, and then I am going to include the bonus tracks because the bonus tracks are probably the best part about this record for me. In fact, some of those are in my top 10 favorite Panic! At the Disco songs. Here's a screenshot from my original Vices and Virtues review. It's clear that I had no idea what I was doing. I had the Justin Bieber long emo swoop hair thing going on because it was 2011 and it was my first year of college, RIP me. And you can see that I'm sitting about, 3 inches away from my flip camera filming out on my porch. What am I doing with my life? Sorry for anybody who had to suffer through that 3-minute nightmare where I actually didn't even really talk about the album whatsoever. That was an early trait of my reviews, listing favorites, least favorites, but somehow not actually talking about the album really at all other than very generic terms. So let's get specific, let's get into Vices and Virtues. As a longtime Panic fan, I can say that around 2008 to 2011 were very worrisome times in the fan camp. It was something where we didn't know if we were going to get more material from them as a two-piece because obviously we lost John Walker and most prominently Ryan Ross, a big part of that band, but they continued on as a duo, just Brendan Urie and Spencer Smith at the time. They dropped a fantastic song called New Perspective for the film Jennifer's Body, which was a horrible movie, but great song nonetheless. I'm glad we got it, and it gave me faith to see what they could do as a duo. It felt like Brendan Urie had his confidence back. They added the apostrophe, the exclamation point back to their name, and then it was Panic! At the Disco once again, soldiering on and putting out Vices and Virtues. It felt like more of a return to the kind of baroque art, indie, pop, alternative rock, a lot of different terms, but it felt more like their debut, except I guess just more straightforward alternative rock, and I was cool with that. While there are many very good songs on here, unfortunately not all of them have aged as well as others, and we'll get to the bonus tracks last, like I said, so we're gonna start just 1 through 10. What do we have packed into the actual main course of this record? Well, we've got some great songs. We've got ones like Hurricane, which is so stomping, clapping, catchy, and I love the guitar. It's almost like a little bit Middle Eastern in the way that it plays. It feels like I should be at a big event somewhere with a mask and it's a soiree. Then we have the Ballad of Mona Lisa, which I was so hyped about from the second that it got released. The music video was really, really cool, kind of like a murder mystery and all the clues on screen, and Brendan Urie in a top hat. Yeah, it was just a no-brainer. It's awesome. The song rocks, and I love that kind of twinkling, mysterious intro and the soaring hook. It's something that I definitely miss about Panic still to this day. One of my favorite songs by them. Always is a really sweet embrace, something that kind of strips things back a bit. We hear that acoustic guitar and Brendan Urie's very gentle voice. And then we have something like Sarah Smiles, which, as we now know, Sarah Urie is his wife. At the time, I didn't know that he was involved with someone named Sarah, so I took the song as being a bit mysterious, but now looking back at it, it's very obvious to see that it's about their relationship and he's talking about things and how they've unfolded, and it is one of my favorite songs on the album. I love the way that it plays out. I will say that in terms of the standard edition, it's kind of spotty in the middle. I love the opening part and I love the closing tracks really from Always On, but it's that middle section, Memories, Ready to Go, Trade Mistakes, that I'm just not feeling as much still to this day. Not to say that something like Memories feels phoned in, it just feels very stale, by the numbers, by the books. It doesn't feel as maybe diverse or as deep as some of the other moments here. And then Ready to Go, I worked at a movie theater back in the day and it played at the end of that Smurfs movie, and I just always remember waiting for the movie to get out and that song would always be playing, and it just got stuck in my head for all the wrong reasons, and I think that that's why I still have some sort of vendetta against it to this day. It's not an awful song, but it just feels a bit mindless and a bit careless compared to some of the others here. Getting back on track with things that I like about this record, I do have to compliment the majority of Let's Kill Tonight. I like the vast array of instrumentation that's used here. It kind of reminds me of Hurricane in the sense that there's a lot going on, and it does kind of feel like a night out on the town. May your feet serve you well and the rest be sent to hell. I love that line. But each time the chorus rolls around, I do get a little bit less fond of it. That is, whenever I'm listening to the song. The first time, yeah, I'm all about it, and the chorus should be one of of those things that you like whenever it rolls around. And instead here, I just feel like it's a bit tedious. I don't know what it is about it. There's just something maybe a bit off-putting with that kind of glowing alien-like synth. That's really the only way I can describe it. It reminds me of something that would be used in a sci-fi film, and it just almost sounds out of place here. I got so much love for Nearly Witches ever since we met. This song got kind of reintroduced to me about a year and a half ago, and for some reason I didn't have this among my favorites. It wasn't one that I disliked, it's just whenever I threw this album on, it was just kind of there to me. But once I actually started paying attention to the detail, I actually looked into the making of this album, I saw the children's choir coming on this track, and just the array and kind of the compilation of tracks, just almost a rendition at the end of the album to sum everything up, and it fit perfectly. And it's one of those things where Brendon Urie is talking about being swept off his feet, essentially, and things changing, except probably for the better. He's sang about that before. Obviously, That Green Gentleman was a big one there. Things have changed for me, and that's okay. But here, I feel like it's kind of a different conformity, and I really like this song's all-encompassing feel. A great way to close out the standard edition of the record. Overall rating of the standard edition of the album before we get to the bonus tracks, I would say 3.5 out of 5, because it's not the best album in Panic's discography. There are great songs here, there's good ones, there's ones that I just feel indifferent on. I definitely don't think it's their strongest material, but they did show strong signs of resurgence, which was really, really cool, and I do admire this album for what it is. Now, let's get into the bonus tracks. I still honestly feel really, really strong about the fact that these tracks should have been included. If this was a 16-song album, I would have had no problem, and fans still scurry to these songs to this day, and I see why. These are actually much stronger than a lot of the songs on the actual standard edition of the album. And there were various editions that got released, the Shot Count edition, the Deluxe edition, the iTunes bonus track, etc., etc. There's a lot of songs. There's actually 6 in total. And I know that seems like a big number for a lot of bonus tracks, but rest assured that they do not drop in quality. In fact, they improve upon it. Kaleidoscope Eyes is the first one I want to talk about. I love the casual throwback feel of this track. It reminds me of the 60s and the 70s. Just a casual stroll down the street. Everything's okay in the world. Looks like the cat that just ate the canary, Urie sings on this one, coughing up feathers. That pretty much sums it all up right there. It's just a white blood cell fighting like hell for you. I love that phrase. It just puts a smile on my face whenever I listen to this song, and it's one of the better bonus tracks here. And in fact, they're all good, so it's really hard to pit them against each other. I will say that probably my least favorite is Turn Off the Lights, even though it is really, really strong in terms of its chorus. I think it does lack a bit in the verses, but you get back on track with the other ones, like Bittersweet. That one is huge. It's one of my top 10 favorite Panic songs, and it has that huge, just soaring hook from Brendon Urie, where he comes in with some really, really strong vocals, where he actually stretches his voice to some other octaves, and you do see that on other moments here. I just think this is one of his best vocal performances overall. Stall Me is super catchy. I love the build and the drumming on that one. The guitars are great. I think that Spencer Smith had more of a hand in this one because you can tell how much percussion plays a role in this song's success. That one in particular does have another really solid chorus, and it gets stuck in your head almost instantly. Then you have I Wanna Be Free that does take off and kind of just powers through its chorus, reminding me a bit more of like power pop and alternative than some of the other songs on this album. It does kind of stand out, but I do think it's unique in a good way. That leaves only one other bonus track to talk about, and that is the Oh Glory demo. I have no idea why this wasn't made into a full song or how this is a demo, because it sounds well produced, well made. It's not just poorly sung in GarageBand or something. It's an actual physical product that seems like a final product, and it should have been. The urgency in the guitars is so felt on this one. I love how choppy they are as the chorus rolls through, and Urie just dominates on the vocals. The drums kick hard as well, and it's probably my favorite of the bonus tracks, at least at this moment. It does change year to year, but right now, I would say that probably Bittersweet, Kaleidoscope Eyes, and Oh Glory are my favorites. Overall, including a rating, including the bonus tracks, I would have to bump this up to a strong 4 out of 5. So take that as you will. If you want to take my rating for the first part, that's fine. But if you want to include it for all 16 songs on this album as a project, I would rate this a 4 out of 5 for Vices and Virtues, the 2011 effort by Panic at the Disco. How has this 2011 album held up over the years for you? Let me know in the comments section down below, and please drop a like if you are enjoying these redemption reviews. If there's others that you would like to see me do in the future for old albums that I reviewed but did terribly or probably did before I was actually taking it seriously, then please, by all means, sound off in the comment section down below, upvote some of the ones that you see that you like. A couple of cool ways you can support the channel. The top link is my Patreon. That's also linked in the corner in the annotation there. If you can donate on a monthly basis, it really helps the videos out. Or if you're able to pick up some merch, it's that second link down below. If you would like to see another Panic video, right over here, another recent redemption right over here, and all of my socials in the description. I'll see you soon on ARTV.